back to talk about my brother. But when he couldn't drive down south, he was so sad. He tried everything. He wanted to leave the hospital, come, and then he just was like, no, he needed a, he just wasn't giving me the details of anything. He just was like, I'm sick. And he was like, Eb, you can do whatever you want to do. I was like, so how we gonna work this out? Because I need for you to be, like the boss. I knew you was gonna be bossy, so I need to really lay back. I don't need to be in charge of nothing. Like, and I didn't want to do it, but I knew that I had clientele and I needed work. So we were transitioning that following month because November was Thanksgiving and December we was transitioning. I was gonna move in with him, work there, but when he couldn't make it to North Carolina for Thanksgiving, I was like, oh God, okay. I told my sister, I was like, I know that I'm gonna have another shop. I'm gonna be doing a shop. But if I still have him, it's like having another Greg. So, but I'll be doing more. And the way he do things, you know, I'm just gonna have to transition over to how he do things and just basically take his lead. But then he was like, Ed, you can do whatever you want. That was before he went to the hospital. And I was like, well, why are you acting like that? Like, why is he saying that I can do whatever I want? Because that's not him. We were really, really in a good space. And I was doing a lot of swim lessons and doing water aerobics. So I was like, okay, so let's go, you know, go out and eat some vegan food. Let's change your diet. Let's do something. He was like, all right, I'm up for that. And then I was like, come to um, a water aerobics lesson with me. He was like, Abby, I'll die. And I'm like, what do you mean you'll die? Like, it's just built. And he was like, I'll die. And I was like, all right. So like just working out like maybe twice a week, but just doing a whole little self-care thing. And but I knew that his health was going to not interfere in it, but because it was still in Montclair, and that and I had been in Montclair for 10 years, and in that area for that long, it was still in the vicinity of my routes, my everyday routes. So I was willing to take on the challenge. So I was, moved a couple of things there, and he died. He died. He was probably my closest sibling. When I look at it, like, we fought a lot, but when I really, really, really look at things, he was my closest sibling. Mark and Mike, Suave and Quasi was my closest siblings. You know, my sister, 18 months older than me, she didn't really fall in, our category. She fell in the older category. And, my older siblings, they're my older siblings, You fall in line. You put things where they're supposed to be. Older brother, we was good, but we wasn't in the trenches together. You know what I'm saying? Me and Suave was in the trenches to some degree, with what was going on. We understood something. So I just think like losing him was like losing a sibling, and then losing him and just things happening the way they did. It was like he was my only sibling. That I'm dancing around, but just things didn't pan out the way um, I I felt it should have panned out. Losing my brother is like I lost every sibling that I had. Even the ones that I was still talking to, I still felt like I lost because they still didn't understand. And I'm like, what part of this am I not getting? But what I do know is that the part that I'm supposed to get is shut the fuck up. You're not as valuable as you think you are. You can easily be silenced, or your voice is not as valuable. You know, your opinion, your voice is not as. We could take it or leave it. Dancing around a specific subject, um, I feel comfortable with dancing around it like this. Not I feel like, I know. Like in my life, I created a lane, like in my career, like in my family life, my voice is kind of like you could take it or leave it, especially when it matters. Certain people just matters, and I really can accept that certain people matter in certain situations. Like you do have a voice, but they don't really want to hear it. You know, have a voice where they, you know, where you're supposed to have one. You know what I'm saying? Not in matters that they feel like they make much better decisions than you. So in every situation. So he just was who he was, but he was not wrong about everything. And I believe that I've said that to plenty of people. Mark ain't wrong about everything. Like he's an asshole. And the thing is that I think that he has perfected it. He liked being an asshole. And he found that being an asshole to some degree helped him, you know, get what he wanted. I don't know whether he got exactly what he wanted or whether, you know, it was more than what he bargained for. But I understand the whole asshole thing. You know, I come from a family of bullies, and we will push our weight if we have to. When he said he was going to die, I was like, and I know that he did not want me to know that he was that sick. He didn't want nobody to know that he was that sick. But then me, you know, joining with him, of course he was trying not to tell me that he was that sick. But him being in the hospital and not driving down to Thanksgiving, one holiday that he looks forward to every single holiday, that's something that we do big. We used to do it really big in my family. And, you know, there's a great possibility that they still do it big. But in that circumference, I don't have a voice. As an adult woman, I have to put on a, a persona that is not authentic to me. I have to fall in line and I have to be where I'm supposed to be. Where I'm supposed to be is in a space of compliance. Good. So when I do other shit, it's like, what's wrong with her? You know, she smokes some bad weed. You're not a good drug addict, and la 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 la. I'm over it. I think I miss the family dynamics, but I always felt alone. You don't have to be around those people to be alone. And maybe then you can process some thoughts, process some shit. You can work on the feeling of being alone. Because being alone is a thing, but the feeling of being alone is something else. I don't feel alone now. When I'm there, I feel alone. There, I felt like I really mattered. I was reminded that you don't matter and you can easily be put in your place. We will fucking stop you by any means necessary, and we will hurt your feelings over and over and over again because you're not supposed to be talking anyway. You will have to learn. You got to understand that you're supposed to shut the fuck up. That's what I learned about my family.